That was the opening video. Good morning, 1 Million Cups. Welcome and thanks for being here. My name is Lake Anani. I'm Program Director over at the North Dakota Women's Business Center, and it's my first time on stage here, so be kind. Thank you for that laugh. I appreciate that. Why am I on stage? I think Kate's been after me for probably since my conception to be up here, and I finally felt like it was an appropriate week to do so because it's Women's Entrepreneurship Week, so we are celebrating female entrepreneurs all week long through some pretty cool events happening throughout North Dakota. Specifically from the North Dakota Women's Business Center, we are featuring 2 female entrepreneurs every morning, Facebook Live on our Facebook page. Each day from 8:30 to 9:30, so check that out. You can go back and watch the replay. But let's get to the agenda at hand. 1 Million Cups. What is it? So 1 Million Cups, let's see. Okay, again, first time. Here we go. Anybody new here? Great. Download the app and check in. This helps us track our attendance. It also helps 1 Million Cups National with their funding sources, etc. So find that app in Google Play or your App Store, download and check in. Thank you to our sponsors. So we can't keep the lights on without the support of our community, and it takes an army. So here we go. If you see any of these folks in the audience or around town, give them a high five and thank them for allowing us to be here each week. Okay, now to the question that I wanted to start with. What is 1 Million Cups? It's a free weekly program that gives 2 local startups the opportunity to pitch their idea in front of other entrepreneurs, business owners, community leaders, etc., for feedback and other opportunities. So thanks again for being here in the audience and online. Thanks for joining us live. The question we typically ask is, can we change the face of our startup community over 1 million cups of coffee? Sadly, Carl Sovak has been absent for most of the summer, so I don't have a recent count on how many cups we have consumed, but we're getting closer. Okay, when it comes to Q&A, we're going to go through a couple of presentations, and we'll do some Q&A at the end. When it comes time to do so, please use hashtag 1MC on Twitter to ask those questions, or you can ask them directly in our Facebook feed. Yeah, and if you have questions in the audience, we'll pass the mic around and do that here. We have a job board now. This is something new that we've added. So the first 1MC of each month, if you have a job opening, please let us know, and we're happy to include it here for you. All right, community announcements. This is a fun piece. I think I have several of the first ones, so I apologize for stealing the mic for so long, but here we go. We've started something new. So at the Women's Business Center, we help people start and grow business. It doesn't have to be just women, but we have started a meeting over at Terra Nomad directly after 1MC. In the event, you want to stop and check in with us, do a quick 15-minute business advising. They're free and confidential, and then we can help get you plugged into some of the right resources to keep you moving forward. Save the date. This is an event that's near and dear to my heart. It's the annual Women's Business Summit. Like many other events, we're going virtual this year. So November 10th, watch for updates on that. NDWBC.com, also on Facebook. And finally, the art of pause. You might have seen this slide already, but we had such good feedback on the first in-person session, we decided to offer a second one virtually. That's happening on Monday, the 28th. So grab your tickets ASAP and join us online. Next, we have Disrupt Well.
All right, good morning. My name's Tyler. I'm with CTB at the Idea Center. Disrupt Well is an event we have going on next week. So Evan and Janya Anderson, our good friends, are the lead organizers behind this. They can't be with us this morning. Quick note, at yesterday's Celebrate Bismarck at the Bisman Chamber and EDC, Evan and Janya were awarded the Bismarck Mandan Small Business People of the Year. So let's hear it for Evan and Janya Anderson. They're really awesome people. Congrats, Evan and Janya. They're not here this morning. I don't think they're watching live, but I'm sure they'll see this later today because they don't ever miss out. But Disrupt Well is next Tuesday, September 29th. It'll be all virtual. At Disrupt Well, we're talking about disruptive technologies. So big data, what's going on in clean egg and what's going on in egg tech, clean energy and energy tech, AI, Bitcoin, blockchain, all of those technologies we hear a lot about. They bring experts in to talk about these and try to explain them so that we can better understand them and hopefully utilize them in our businesses and what we're trying to do. So there are still tickets available, disruptwell.com. You can get those. You have to register through Eventbrite, but it's all virtual next Tuesday, September 29th. Please check it out if you'd like to. Also, we have COVID-19 testing sites in Bismarck and Mandan. So at these locations and at these times, there is free testing every week. So if you want to get tested, if you don't know where to get tested, you can go to, you can pre-register at that testreg.nd.gov and get a little peace of mind if you want to make sure that you're not asymptomatic but running around positive. So that's it. Thanks.
Thanks, Tyler. Great job. It's like you practiced. Okay, call for artists. So each week we try to do a random act of art. So if you have anything you'd like to share, it doesn't have to be performing arts. Maybe it's musical, maybe you are an incredible painter, you're great at beatboxing. We want to see you here on stage, so get in touch with us. If you have the talent or if you know somebody who has the talent, then they need to be recognized for it. Okay. Main Street Summit. This is virtual and in person, I think, Tyler. Is that correct? All virtual now. Great. Okay, so you can register on Eventbrite. It's happening October 7th, and we'll be there. Great. Yeah, so we started that last year. We'll be back again, and tune in virtually for a pretty kick-ass 1 million cups. I'm sorry, it's war. Okay, so without further ado and no more needs for bleeping me, let me introduce our presenters. So we've got Amy Shaw and Nick Jacobs are here. They are the owners of The Potter's Hands out of Wild Rose, North Dakota. Thank you for driving all this way to be here in person. Super excited to learn more about your business. And if you didn't see, they also brought some of their products for those of us in-house, so grab some chapstick on your way out. Along with them, we've got Callie Thorne, who's the owner of Triangle M Ranch and Feedlot and Pioneering Legacy, and several other businesses probably that we're going to hear about. But first, we're going to start off with Amy and Nick. So you guys want to take the stage?
All right. I just want to say thanks for having us. It's a great opportunity for us just to explain what we do and how we came about.
Yeah, so we're in the Potter's Hands. We're based out of Wild Rose, North Dakota, and we produce skincare and healthcare products there, all gluten-free and fragrance-free. We produce everything from start to finish on that rural farm in North Dakota.
So if anyone doesn't know where Wild Rose is, it's 20 miles from Canada, 20 miles from Montana, so we're way up there.
So the main purpose of our products is to be allergen specific. It's to help certain people that are ailing from certain things, gluten, other allergens, celiac, chemical sensitivities. And we have got 4 product lines, all dedicated to different things.
Throughout the process, too, we found, even within the last couple years, more and more people are discovering that they have these sensitivities that they may not have had from birth. So, whether it's coconut, soy, corn, those type of ingredients are usually somewhat hidden in what you're putting on your skin, washing your hair with, that type of thing.
So a couple of things that make us different from the large industry of skincare is that we offer full disclosure of all ingredients. So there's nothing proprietary. We don't hide anything behind blends. And we do extensive research into every product to ensure that it's not coming from something that could contain an allergen protein. And
On here, we actually grow hazelmint, which is by the USDA. That variety is only grown up on our farm, on the family farm.
area.
So Chris and Jerry, who are the original owners, were able to name it, and we use this mint in a few of our products. So that's, I guess, super exciting for me. So.
And that one as well, we grow it there, we harvest it there, we distill it into the oil and the byproduct of that. So it's all in-house. We can control what happens, so nothing else gets added into it. Well, some of the great things about our products is that they're starting to have a little bit of a reputation for how well they work, and we're in the Mayo Clinic Skin Safe database, which is a database that dermatologists and doctors can reference when they're dealing with a patient to find something that will work well for them. So that was quite a blessing to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm. So this slide is probably one of the hardest for both of us to talk about. Christine Gilland is the reason we're here. I believe it was 1994. She was poisoned from a chemical when she was using wood chips around her farm. She basically went into a fog for 3 years, not really functioning to any capacity while trying to raise kids and figuring out what was going on with her and what was triggering these attacks that were shutting down her system. Through research and a lot of praying, they finally figured out what was causing these. It was the chemicals that she was putting into her body, whether that be through her food, what she was putting onto her skin, if it was perfumes or man-made ingredients, just trying to figure out that process. And in all that, she came back to her family roots. Her mom was a soap maker, so she started making her own bar soap, and it evolved into lotions and baby balms, Honey Lips, which is out there. It's actually made with local beeswax. So, and it started from there. Friends and family were using it just so they could come see her. There was a process, a 3-day process of anyone coming onto the farm that they had to follow, washing clothes a certain way, showering, making sure they're using the right soap. Within that, more and more people were hearing about what she was making, and that's essentially where the Dakota Free line started.
Right. So she was a brilliant chemist too, so she was able to research these things and to produce these products. And the more people used them just to come see her, the more the word got out. People found they really loved them and enjoyed them. So eventually enough people said so and convinced them to start selling them to other people. So they looked into doing that and was able to build that business and expand the product line, and is really just started so that she could interact with other people, and it grew into something that's all over the world at this point. Mm-hmm. And so everything that we do is in honor of her. And unfortunately she did pass 2 years ago to cancer, and so we're just continuing that line.
So this slide, okay, so what's next for us? We are planning on taking our manufacturing plant and moving to Crosby, which is closer to Canada, and expanding the manufacturing and also opening a potential retail space for our products, other natural products, a few other North Dakota made items, that type of thing. We are currently in the Export Tech program. If anyone is looking at exporting, it has been so much good information, and they plug you into talking to the right people, if you're even just thinking about it. We're trying to strategically grow without growing too big for our britches. How about that? That we cannot keep up with the demand and, provide that customer care that Christine has instilled from the get-go. So.
And another one of the troubles that we faced is that the company itself has been around for a long time and has acquired other product lines and built new product lines, and due to a lot of our customers being very, very worried about their products, we ended up having multiple websites. So right now, one of our troubles is just bringing it all together into one place, to unify the product lines into under Healthy Cricket, which is our new website, and that's another one of the troubles we've faced so far.
And so, a few of our other challenges, obviously, in today's world that we're finding, packaging. You can't find a bottle to save your soul. I'm always checking our suppliers to see what's available. And I guess I feel like a hoarder sometimes. If I find a certain type of bottle that works for our products, I'm buying it. Even if we may not need it, but I know at some point we'll use them. So, but it's just, our space is out. It's getting filled. So, we are crossing our fingers and toes and everything else that we can make this relocation plan work. So,
yeah.
And I think with that is everything.
Normally we'd ask for questions.
Yeah, but
we'll have to
we'll
wait
wait.
a little while for that. So we're all set.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be here this morning. I came a little bit of a distance like these guys as well. I'm from Watford City. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on me. And I know Lakin mentioned I do a few different things. When I talked to Tyler the other day, he's like, I think that's considered a serial entrepreneur, what you're up to. And I'm like, well, maybe it is. Maybe I'm the only one who doesn't realize how crazy I am. So, first, I got to start with this crew because this is kind of first and foremost. Those are my 3 kids. I have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So that's Tylee, Kaysen, and Lainey, and we definitely do most everything together, especially when there is no school going on or there is no daycare to send my children to. So it's been an interesting last few months, as I know it has for everybody. So I'll stay on this slide for just a minute. This is actually a picture of my business card. I have to give a shout out to Mike Brevick. He's in Fargo and he did all my logo design work and stuff for me. He does a phenomenal job, especially when I bring to him everything that I'm up to and tell him I want this all put together. So you can see the top right, that's the back side of my business card. The first one is Triangle M Ranch and Feedlot, and my husband and I do that together, and it's definitely a generational and still to this day a family-owned operation, which includes my mom and dad and then my brother and his fiance. We all work together, but we all have our own businesses at the same time too, if that makes sense. So I'm going to spend more time on that today, but I also wanted to mention Pioneering Legacy. I am a certified speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell team, and I've been doing that for about a year. And so I do a variety of things. I was actually just talking to Rachel earlier, and I said, I really need to work on finding my niche, But I don't know how many of you love doing so many different things. You really don't know what your niche should be. So I go into schools, I work with youth on bullying curriculum and also leadership, but then I also love to dive into the agricultural industry, the health industry, adults, businesses, entrepreneurs, and so I'm kind of all over the place working on that, but it really enjoy connecting with others through that. Prairie Rose Adventures could grow into a whole nother adventure if I decide to pursue it. We put on a ranch rodeo at our place. We just had that over Labor Day weekend. We are doing a youth pheasant hunt coming up in October. And so it's really, I told people I kind of just needed a name to go with it for the different things that we like to host and put on at our place. We love welcoming others, getting people connected, educating them about our industry, and making fun events for them. So it is really pretty out our direction too. We're up along the Missouri River, and so when we have family come out from even Fargo and stuff, they love to go bike the Badlands, some of our pastures, and it's just an experience for them, right? Isn't that what everybody wants now, is experiences? So we'll see what that grows into someday. And then I've also been a Mary Kay consultant actually for 11 years. For the past 7.5 years, I was in the top 1% with the company, but there's times you kind of got to rein yourself in, right? And so I'm still with the company now, but just slowed down a little bit. So those are all the things I do, plus a mom and everything else that's on our to-do plate. So we're going to spend a little bit more time, though, talking probably about the latest addition to Triangle M Ranch and Feedlot. So it was originally homesteaded, the place where I live right now, in 1947. My great-grandpa bought it, and then my grandpa owned it, and then my mom and dad owned it. And we're crossing our fingers that maybe someday we'll get to own it. But it's pretty neat because right now I live in the house that my grandma and grandpa built. And that house I grew up in because then my mom and dad bought it. And so when I wander through the house, sometimes I'll still tell people, I'm like, this is my office today, but this actually used to be my bedroom when I was little. Or this used to be the playroom and now it's a bathroom and stuff. So it's pretty neat opportunity. Not many people, I think, have that unique background and story to tell. And I think that's why we work so hard doing what we do on that ranch. So we have a cow-calf operation, which means we are the start of the food chain, right? We've got baby calves come in April, May, and it comes with a lot of work, of course. We also have a custom backgrounding feedlot, and so what that means, just to give you a little more information, we're typically not finishing cattle, but if the markets aren't like where we need them to be, we'll hold our calves back longer, or whatever the case may be. It just means we've got the space to feed more, but we don't only take in our animals. A lot of times in the winter, I jokingly say, when winter comes and everybody else goes to Arizona, we take their cattle and we feed for them. And so we can give them an option because we have the feedlot. And then the newest thing, which I'm going to spend the most time on, is we decided to start selling beef directly to consumers. So I've got a pretty neat little timeline that I'll show you guys in a minute to kind of how that came about. So I have to laugh because this is one of the questions Tyler asked when he sent it to us, is like, what's your mission? I'm like, wow, that's a great question. We've been around. I mean, I have family history back to 1911 when we had family bringing horses across from Belgium and stuff. Like, really neat stories. But I'm like, I wonder if our family's ever talked about our mission. And so I said our family works to preserve our Western heritage in a way that allows us to work full circle from pasture to plate and directly with consumers. We're able to do this through education, inspiration, and even a little entertainment. We provide a nutritious and safe beef product for others to confidently enjoy, from our family to yours. And you can see this was actually at a farmer's market in Watford City this summer. We don't go too often, but sometimes we have vegetables that we sell as well. Pretty much from my mom and dad's garden that we walk down the road and pick from and eat from, and then we sell their stuff. But that was our whole crew this summer in Watford. So I'm going to give you guys kind of a timeline here of how this got started, and it was fun putting this together because it reminds me of what a whirlwind it's been these last few months. So April 13th, I have to start with this. That's when the schools closed, and all of a sudden all my children were home with me. The littlest one, she's really spunky. She was in daycare typically 2 days a week. so I could try and work some of my businesses and stuff. But all of a sudden, April 13th, everything's closed. I know it was that week that my husband made this comment, but I wasn't exactly sure what day. But I picked April 16th because that day I was supposed to be in one of the schools teaching. I was supposed to go to an after-school program that day and teach. I also had a hair appointment that day, and all those things got canceled, so it was a sad day. But that evening, I remember we were sitting in our chairs, like just probably like all of you were around that date, like, is this really what's happening in the world right now? And he looked over at me, he's like, he's constantly crunching numbers on his phone, and he said, I think we should sell beef. And I remember I was on my phone and I just looked at him. I don't even know if I responded, like kind of, okay, yep, let that slide by and pass by. But you can see by April 20th, I'd mailed in the paperwork to the state so that we could get our retail meat license to sell beef directly to consumers. And it's funny just looking at this timeline, it reminds me of how fast, like if you do want to make a change in your life, no matter what it is, or you have an idea in your head about a business or whatever it might be, how quickly you can make it come to life. I'm not saying everybody recommends to do it this fast, like have a little bit of a plan in place, but it can move. So in the meantime, we didn't have this amount of finished fat cattle on our place. Remember, we're a cow-calf operation. And so if you recall hearing about meat supply lately and production supply chain and prices in the markets and everything, we weren't making any money on our cattle at home. And so we had to think strategically. Flip those cattle, we sold those calves in order to reinvest in finished fat cattle. Because through our connections, we knew a lot of people who were sitting on fat cattle, but the packers weren't able to buy them because the packing plants were being shut down, right? So it's this whole system that I think finally came to life of if things aren't moving slowly, prices can get jacked up or you can run out of food and everything. It was a realization for everybody. So we know of people who had finishing feedlots. We bought 40 head. I remember my husband and I talking. I'm like, oh gosh, maybe 20, 10, 15, 20 animals we should get and start with. Nope, he comes home with a pot load, which is an entire semi-load, 40 head of finished fat animals. On the 24th, he loves looking at Bizman and all these sites. He's like, I think we need to buy a freezer. I mean, what if people don't buy it right away? We have to have a freezer. I'm like, well, yeah, we can get a little freezer. Okay, do you see the top right photo there? That's my child standing by our giant freezer that we now have at our place. We're very fortunate because I can tell you we have not had to keep beef in that. That is how fast it has moved through our hands. Just a couple more here. We received our license on May 4th. So this is a shout out to the state government because I thought, what a headache is this going to be working with them and trying to get a retail license. It was way smoother than I expected and easier. And so that day, thankfully, I can legally say that day we got our license, and that's the day we took our first 10 head up to Williston. So the kicker is with our retail meat license, in order to sell directly to consumers, we have to work or take our animals to a state or federally inspected plant. If you do your research, which I had to do, there are very few in the state that are actually state or federally inspected. Most are kind of your mom and pop butcher shops, which if I, as an individual, any of you, if you wanted to take an animal there that you bought, even from me, you can take it there and they'll butcher it for you. But if I want to sell you beef directly, I have to have a state or federally inspected plant, which thankfully Williston is about 45 minutes from there, so they've been great to partner with and get us in as we've had to move a lot of animals. All the other things you have to do with a business, got our ranch name like actually registered with the state. I wish these were lining up more. They did on my PowerPoint originally. Another great idea by my husband. I have to remind myself a lot that everybody starts somewhere, right? I mean, we don't all start out on top, and I think that's a great reminder for business owners is we want it to look like this and we want to have this smooth and steady path. But nope, sometimes you have to buy an old Schwann trailer, really the trailer portion of it, and look really cool when you haul meat to Fargo. So he found that, I think, on Bizman, another one of his great finds. And so that was me one weekend. I think this is the only time I've had to use it. We typically don't deliver to people. Most people pick it up in Williston themselves, but I do offer it if they need it delivered for a fee. So there were 7, 8 families in Fargo that wanted beef, and so I collided them all together and made a delivery in the back of the Schwann's truck freezer with it's on a trailer, pulled with my pickup. One of my friends from high school, I had posted a picture of this ridiculousness, and when I was driving home from Fargo that weekend, he texted me. I was probably by Belfield. He's like, "Hey, I just met you on the highway." And I texted back, I'm like, "Are you sure it was me?" He's like, "Who else is driving an outfit like that?" So brought Schwanny home, only had to use them once, thankfully. But we'll see what else comes. On May 22nd, by May 22nd, remember when this all started, right? Was technically on April 16th, he's like, "We should sell beef." And then by May 22nd, I had 40 head that were sold and spoken for already. I mean, and if you're not kind of in that world, the ag industry, beef, moving product and stuff like that, that's insane. Not to mention I was homeschooling too and had all my sweet children with me at that time. And so then on June 1st, then we had our next step. It's like, what is this coming to? Like, what next? Well, we purchased another 40 head to keep rolling with it. So started back up, took a little bit of a break off, a breather in June, and then obviously that's when we could get back into the butcher, started taking them back in August. We had more fats, our 3rd round delivered to us here August 24th. And so this is kind of like my month off, catch my breath again. And we'll start taking fats again on October 6th. And so because I wasn't busy enough, I decided I should give seasoning to all my customers who buy from us. So that's like a little thing that we're doing for them is they get a thank you card with our picture and stuff on their handwritten note, and they get a little tube of seasoning from us. That's the kids, and when I thought about it, I've only had to deliver 3 times to people. So one time it was up towards Canada, it was a trek up there, and once to Fargo, and then once to Bismarck. Other than that, we have sold to people all over the state, and just because of the place, probably the location we live in, people have come all over the state to pick it up themselves in Williston. But then I've also, had people haul it back to Idaho, to Texas, all over, just because of the oil boom, the area that we live in, they're taking this product back home to their families, which is pretty neat. So kids came and helped me deliver one day. Glad we had the freezer. That's the freezer in the background there that I took a picture of. I went to Williston on like a Wednesday and then did the delivery on Thursday. So we were fortunate we had the freezer to be able to store it if needed. So what's next? Just a couple slides, I'll wrap up here, is it came so fast and furious. I'm fortunate I've been in some other businesses to have a clue, but I feel like this is real deal business now for sure, is improving these systems, because it's my husband and I right now. He kind of buys the cattle, brings them, feeds them, but when you don't realize sometimes what all you're taking on when you start up a business, and we knew it would be busy, but it's all of these things, right? It's who's tracking the finances, who's doing the marketing. I can tell you we have sold everything today because of Facebook. I mean, just making a post once in a while. Customer relations is a big thing. Distribution, being in contact with the customers. We don't ship anything right now, but I get asked all the time when we're going to start shipping. Having the cattle on hand, scheduling with the butcher. I mean, there is so much to the entire process. And then looking at expansion. What could that look like? Is it an option? Can the butcher take that many? What do the markets look like? There's so many different things that play into this portion of our business. And thankfully, we've already had people, I already have a gal actually who is on her 2nd round of purchasing from us. We've had very good feedback. As a business owner, I know though too, I'm just kind of waiting for the one person who's going to have an issue, right? I even had one customer text me. He hadn't picked up his meat yet. And he texted me and he said, "So what if I have an issue with the meat?" I should have pulled up his text. It was even funnier. And that's when my heart sinks, because I'm like, I don't know this person, and if he's being serious or if he's being funny. And I said, we're happy to work with you. We want our customers to be happy, yada, yada. He's like, "So what if I eat 3/4 of it and want to return it?" I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if he's being serious still or what. He's like, "I'm just kidding, I would never do that." But I was just curious. I'm like, that's the pressure that is put on us as the business owners. So that's a picture of my husband and my 6-year-old. They're taking some of the fats up to the feedlot while we hold them. Some of our challenges is just the timing. You know, it's one thing to sell a product, which I've done numerous times in different businesses, but it's another thing when we have live animals on the ranch who are then going to go get slaughtered, and then we have a perishable product, and it's just a lot of timing and logistics. The markets. I mean, that's the game we've played since we were little. That's what we grew up doing, I guess. And generations before me is we have a willingness, I guess, to play the daily game of markets and weather, which is not for everybody, right? And so seeing what those prices are and if we can buy cattle, what the end product prices are then and what we can market it at. Just the scheduling is a whole challenge itself, not in a bad way, but trying to fit everything in, looking at our systems and then slowing down to speed up. What systems can I get better in place to make sure things flow a little bit easier for us? So I think I'll probably close there because I've probably taken enough time, but we'll have questions shortly then. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for those presentations. It makes my heart happy that we got to hear about 2 ag businesses today, and appreciate, again, all of you for driving all the way down to Bismarck to be here with us. We'll take questions. Are there any in the audience? All right. Tyler Dott's got one over here.
Question is for the first entrepreneurs, and just really curious what your connection is to skincare and skin products. You had mentioned your predecessor who started the company, but how did you come in to establishing a relationship with her and then acquiring the business? And then you had mentioned that she was a gifted chemist. I mean, is that your background? Because it seems like a very technical industry.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. She actually was a registered nurse before she was poisoned. So she was constantly in that medical type world. I don't know if that's the way to explain it. And how we came, I am actually a cousin. Jerry, who is her husband, and my mom are cousins. So we are family. And
I married into the family. I married her daughter, so and went to work helping with the company.
And after just another great thing with the whole progress of the company, after Chris passed away, Nick and I and their other son were actually gifted her part of the company. So we feel extremely blessed and honored to have that. It just kind of gives us a sense of, I don't want to say duty, but we feel that, we need to kind of uphold her legacy that she started so long ago. So, yeah.
So I'll piggyback on Dot's question. So you're kind of stewards of Christine's legacy here. Did you work in that business at all before you took it over, or did you have any experience marketing the product, producing the product? How did that transition work?
Well, we did. I did work there for about 2 years before she did pass.
And I actually started very, very part-time. I went to school for business many moons ago. And when I moved back home, she actually asked if I was interested in helping just doing payroll. And I was there maybe twice a month, just helping her keep up with those daily tasks of bookkeeping. And it just came to be that at one point I needed something different, and they were both willing to take me on full time. And so for probably 5 years, it was really part-time work for me anyway. So.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for presenting for both of you guys today. Question for you on your products. You mentioned that you have different lines. Like, what specifically do you guys offer? Where do you sell them at? Are you just selling locally?
Well,
How
we
does that
do
work?
sell online extensively through different websites. So we also sell in a variety of locations in North Dakota.
I think in Bismarck, we are in the North Dakota Embroidery Store, and Terry's also has a few of our Dakota Free products.
Yep. And we do have a couple other stores around the country as well.
But our different lines, Dakota Free was the one that Chris started with the lotions and soaps many years ago. In 2007, they were actually approached to by Gluten Free Savonry, which is tailored toward more those with the plant-based allergies, like corn, soy, gluten, obviously. I'm trying to think of the other big ones, but those are the main ones that most people hear about. And throughout, the entire basically 20 years, the Millennial Essentials is a higher end. It has, better ingredients or more intensive oils, and we have Prairie Blends, which is a utilitarian line that's based on a baby balm. We have one that's set to protect your pet paws or cow's udders, if you're looking. One for protecting wood, leather.
Yep, and one conditioned leather. So really, we've got the 4 product lines, and then we just slowly expanded them as we saw use cases arise.
Callie, I've got a question for you. You talked about several of your businesses. So how do you handle time management?
It's interesting because I think people think I probably run like a mad woman around, but like the last couple days I've just been home doing my stuff. But I will tell you, it takes a tribe, and thankfully we have a lot of people in our life that help us out. My brother and his fiance live probably a quarter of a mile away. My mom and dad live probably 3 miles away. And we're very fortunate that both my husband and I are very driven, motivated people, and yet we see where each other has to be. And so there's days that she's hauling corn with him, or there's days I'm doing stuff with the little one too. And so we just juggle it, but I do like to plan, and I know that I have to have a tight schedule and prioritize things and stuff. So yeah, it's a juggling act.
So I also grew up on a cow-calf operation in southwestern North Dakota. But my question for Triangle M is, I know with the pandemic, what you guys are doing has been very popular with other producers. Have you guys ever considered possibly kind of entering the education sector of what we do and offering classes, whether it's about butchering or how to... I just know in this world people think that we don't necessarily take care of our animals as properly as we do. And so it's just kind of that realm of entering the education side. And I guess it's kind of in a marketing tactic to strengthen your brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that's a piece of, since we've started selling beef, that's one of my favorite pieces of it, is getting to educate people, because we do often get the questions, is it hormone-free? Is it antibiotic-free? What are they fed? Are they finished on grass? And so a lot of times, that's where probably the coach in me with the John Maxwell stuff comes in, and I need to find out why they're asking that question, though. Do they have the facts? Do they know science? Do they know why we do certain things the way that we do? And so it's really been an educational opportunity for us and stuff. I have had a handful of people reach out, and they're like, what do we need to do to get started, or can I do it? And a lot of times, truthfully, I just tell them, go to the North Dakota Department of Health, actually is what it's under, food and lodging, and it's simple. And I think people have a lot of options, but now you're giving me another idea, yes, of what I could do. But I will say this, my husband and I, he's actually coming with, he's not very excited to speak, but next week is the North Dakota Stockman's Convention, and we'll be speaking at 9 a.m. on Friday, kind of walking people through how we got started, and the North Dakota Department of Health, North Dakota Department of Ag, Health, whoever it's actually going to be, will be there as well, telling people kind of what the rules and regulations are in case you were interested in starting that. So, good question.
Thanks, Callie. Question in the back.
Yeah, we've got a question from social media. Kate asks, or tells a little story. My family's always gifted beef as a Christmas gift and wedding gift. Is that still a tradition? And getting half a beef for your wedding gift.
You know what's funny is we have had people that they have purchased already for a Christmas gift for somebody. I know of people that their dad bought a half for them or whatever. I had a friend who was going to buy some, but then he talked to his wife, and he's like, oh, never mind, I guess her dad bought us a quarter or a half for Christmas too. So I've heard of it once in a while, and we've seen it too. So yes, great idea. If people want that, we can do that.
Go ahead.
Kind of bridging off the question that Cody had regarding the care and education of the animals. I guess the question I have is, you're not actually raising them. You're bringing them in at a certain point when the fats, they're not being raised from birth. So do you have specific ranchers that you're going to that have certain requirements so you are able to answer those questions when they're asked?
Good question. And most of these have been ones that we purchased from other people within the state and stuff. So some have been in the past. So in the past, we've maybe sold a couple animals here and there throughout the year, but obviously this was a whole new undertaking and stuff. And so we do. My husband and I have discussed that, of what kind of cattle we want, quality, the people we know very well that we're working with, knowing the breeds, knowing what they're doing, how they're treating their animals and all that, because it is a huge deal. And I think that's, again, why I love so much of it, is because it's giving us the opportunity to help educate people. I mean, even at the farmer's market, people will ask those questions, or we've had people ask, can we come out to the place? And I tell them, we'd love it. Please come out, see what our operation looks like, see that, our whole family is involved, and just how that history, I think, that legacy that we have that we're proud of, because you can see it out there in the media or the stories. And I think that's why finding the facts is such an important thing to do. And so, yeah, we take that a high priority to do our research where we are getting animals if we're buying them.
Callie, your business was started, this business was started essentially due to COVID. So my question is for Amy and Nick, what changes have you made, or I guess challenges have you noticed due to the pandemic?
Honestly, we were blessed with what we do. I mean, we manufacture soap. There's so many more people actually washing their hands. The other thing, both Nick and I have talked about, is the flexibility of, being where we're at, that if Nick has to stay home or I have to stay home, it's not an issue. We definitely take family first for once. And when schools closed, it was, okay, who's going to come? Can someone, who's going to answer the phones today? And, in, I believe, March and April, our sales almost doubled what we normally did compared to last year. So we really didn't have to change much. I mean, just manufacturing
Not too
capabilities.
much. We had to make sure that we had stock on hand to, for the increase in orders. We also need to kind of look ahead a little bit because of so many people wanting to produce more hand sanitizer and things like that. A lot of the bottles that we use are gone. They're just not there anymore, and production can't quite keep up. So we just have to look ahead a little bit farther and to do a little bit more research around the internet to try to find more sources for the lids and the bottles, and just to ensure that we have enough stock on hand to fulfill those orders.
Just another aspect on that too, our soap, bar soap, it cures for 30 days. So we do have to look definitely ahead to see, okay, where are we sitting? How much have we sold in the last 2 weeks? Do we need to start making more? That type of thing. So
Scott and, Nick and Amy, can I ask, is it mostly your existing customers ordering more, or are you accessing new niche markets, or with so many more parents homeschooling, and that tends to be a market that's more allergy free? How would you how would you describe how you said you've had increased sales? Is it your existing customers, or are you actually bringing on new customers?
It's honestly been a combination of those existing customers and new ones. Oh, I've had countless conversations with people saying, I finally had the chance just to sit down and research what's out there. Being home. So that was definitely a help. We have partnered with some homeschooling advertising companies, out in California, where it's a little more prevalent than it is here, I think, and starting to, but yeah. So.
Any other questions from the audience? Anything on social media, Kirsten? All right. Callie, you mentioned the speed at which your business kind of took off. Looking back now, is there anything you would have done differently? You wish you would have maybe been able to sit on a little bit longer? Talk to us a little bit about the time frame, or give us more details on the time frame in which you launched.
Yeah, good question. Since you can see it was all kind of just thrown on me one night when he mentioned it. It's like, wait, is this a joke? And so I think maybe one of the things that we maybe would have changed a little bit, and this is on my end with all that I do, because I'm the one who's billing people and tracking their cuts. I mean, there's so many details to it that you don't think about until you just thrust yourself into the work. And it's like, wait, this person, did they pay their deposit? Okay, now their animal's going, what cuts do they want for sure? Okay, now have I got them their hanging weight to get them their full total? Has that been paid? Okay, now it's done. Have I told them they can pick it up? Have they picked it up? Have they got a thank you? So I mean, it's all this stuff. So I think if I would have started my systems better, as far as my billing or filling out a contact form or just some of those things, still, those are probably some of the things I listed even that I want to get figured out, because it could simplify the process. But it's hard for me too, though, because I love to connect with the people. And I think that's why we've sold a lot as well, is just individually messaging on Facebook. I bet 90% of the purchases that we've had, that's how they've come, is through communication that way. And now it's building through referrals too.
So the question was, how do you prioritize new versus existing customers?
Yeah, great question. I think for us in this business, per se, it's kind of a mixture of both, because our product will last them quite a while. That's why I think I found it important to send them a little thing of seasoning and a handwritten thank you that's got our family on there and stuff, and letting them know, like, you're supporting our family and stuff. So that's one way that I stay connected with them. But that goes back to my systems. It's like, wait, why wasn't I getting everybody's email addresses? Why wasn't I doing this? Why didn't I have a nice file on that? But then for me, a big part of it too is definitely staying active on social media, especially right now, gaining new customers, because I know that them word of mouth has been huge. Even when I make a post and somebody comments and they say, we got beef from them, it's the best we've ever had and stuff. I mean, that says everything for us, and we don't have to say it ourselves, which is a big deal.
For us, it's been pretty easy. We're kind of set up to educate new customers. We have extensive information sheets that we send with everything that's appropriate. And thanks to the online selling platforms, Amazon websites and things like that, it's really easy to get new customers. And then, but we're always there, and we love to talk to the customers on the phone. We have a lot of people that call with questions, and they just don't know what to do because they have these allergies and they don't know anything about them. And so we were kind of set up so we can send that information. We have little flyers that we can send out to encourage people to call and to find out more and to give us feedback. But we're always still there for our existing customers that we talk to on the phone regularly.
And I think one other important aspect is that we have to stay consistent for our customers, even if our supplier changes, even where they're getting oils, we have to be consistent. If it's cold pressed, where it's coming from, if it's treated with pesticides, that type of thing, because that could change. A person could have a major reaction to those, just that minor change in, say, safflower oil. So we do have to be careful. I mean, there's days and weeks that I'm getting phone calls and texts, from existing customers just saying, hey, I need this, this, and this. Okay, well, get it out to you. How's the kids? That I think that constant contact with existing customers is also very important to us too.
Yeah, I have a question for both businesses. Callie, you said you were kind of birthed out of COVID and the pandemic and being home. You guys expanded and increased business due to the pandemic. What do you plan on doing to help maintain business if things go back to quote unquote normal a little? What do you plan on doing to keep the momentum going?
What do we plan? I think for us, that's the next big question is what are some of those systems we can put in place to make sure that we can keep rolling? Because my husband and I talk about that every day, is what happens if and when those kids get sent home, or whatever winter and fall happens to bring. And I'll be honest, that's a thing probably that we struggle with because it's us. Like I said, we've got my family and stuff too, but we're different than some businesses, I suppose. We don't have any employees and stuff, so it falls on us. But obviously that's a choice we've made by not letting some of those other things go. We do have an accountant now. I mean, we've always had an accountant, but we've got somebody to work with us on some of our finances, which I think will make a big difference too, and in the receipts and the numbers end of it and stuff. So I guess this maybe isn't the answer some people want, but we will keep it rolling one way or another. That's just how we are, and so it'll be some late nights, early mornings if we have to, but then figuring out a way to pivot so that we can keep living life though too while running a business.
And I think for us, continue. We've had marketing plans in place and wanting to export. Or looking into that option. With the start of COVID, that obviously was put on hold. So now we're finally getting back into that. But just continuing the, the more online type marketing. We've doing the Facebook thing, see how that, but that's a learning process as well. So, learning as we go, but.
And we're always looking to find more wholesale customers as well. We do have some people that reach out on occasion, but that's always in the back of our mind when we're going places, is trying to find brick and mortar stores that will fit our product types. Yeah.
One thing I'll just add quick too that has helped quite a bit, and my brother-in-law kind of coaxed me into this. They're like, how do you still not have a Facebook page for your businesses? But I think sometimes perfectionists, it's like, well, because I don't have this written up, or I don't know what picture I want up there, and they're like, you're hurting yourself more than what you could be doing with a Facebook page. So I have a Pioneering Legacy Facebook page, business page, and then we have a specific Triangle M Ranch and Feedlot page. And I think that's one of the things that's helped plugging in customers and people, but it's added that education point too a whole lot, and they can follow us. But now it's keeping up on posting is another thing too, which I should have hired done. But it gives people a picture into who they're getting to work with. When they see I'm cutting hay with the kids one day and then we're baling the next day and we're doing all these things, because I won't lie, sometimes I often get asked oh, what do you do, sit in the office? Nope, today we're AIing or we're chasing cattle. I mean, I get to do it all, which is a lot of fun, but it connects you with your customer and they feel, oh, I kind of know them. I kind of know what they do, and that's why I want to buy from them and stuff. So it's been fun getting those pages up and going.
I believe one thing that we don't realize is that just having a business in North Dakota gives us a great amount of social distancing. And the idea that up close to the border we have a pure product coming out of there, and even in western North Dakota, I think a person should be capitalizing on that distancing to a potential customer.
Yeah, I guess I think, for us, like I said, it was fairly easy. I mean, we have a total, including Nick and I, 7 employees. And Nick and I are mainly the full-time people, and when it started, we were all in contact with each other. Okay, who's going to be in? Am I okay coming in? Guys, have you guys been anywhere? So for us, it was fairly easy to kind of keep that separation and social distancing practice.
Thank you guys for being here. We've got one final question that we ask every entrepreneur. Tyler, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I owe Callie an apology. When you sent me your PowerPoint yesterday, it looked great. Those little formatting errors were not in there. When I uploaded it to our Google Slides drive, our shared Google Slides, I did not spell check and make sure it was formatted correctly. So that was on me. Not on
Shame.
But the last question we ask every week is, how can our 1 Million Cups community here in Bismarck and Mandan, and really in North Dakota, best support you moving forward?
I think for us, it is just talking about our products. Even in Crosby or Wild Rose, they know Dakota Free, they know In the Potter's Hands, but they don't really know what we do and what we have to offer. So just having those conversations with people and saying, hey, I heard about this company. If you're having allergy issues and want to talk to us, obviously give us a call, share our information. We're more than happy to help people solve all these issues that they may have.
Yeah. One of the things that I've found is when we're doing trade shows and things like that, there's almost always somebody that knows another person that has allergy issues. Almost everybody knows at least somebody. And it's important to us to let them know that there's options. A lot of times people have allergies and they just don't know that there's other options out there. They don't know that the products they are using are causing some of those issues.
Or even where to start once they get those diagnoses.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect. I think I would say share your experiences, and not even if it's an experience with us or an experience with them, but if you eat at a restaurant, or you go to a movie or whatever, you tell your friends about it, but yet sometimes when it comes to businesses, we maybe don't always quite as much. And so sharing your experience, I think, is a big thing, but asking questions. I think we don't do that enough. We just read certain things and take it as truth, or we think we understand something. And so get to know who you're buying from and ask them about their products and how they came about. So ask questions and share your experiences in a variety of platforms.
So if we wanted to find more information about you, Callie, what's your website?
Go to, because I don't have a website yet, go to Facebook and look up Triangle M Ranch and Feedlot, and then you can also find Pioneering Legacy too as a separate page.
Amy, how about you? What's your website?
Oh, which one? We actually have 3 current websites, which we are whittling down to 1. So the website is healthycricket.com, which we just updated. So if you put a new in front of that, you'll get the updated website that's fabulous, easy to use, and has all of the product lines all in one place. Cool. So.
And
Exercise Google.
And Amy and Nick also have a catalog and some of their lip balm
yes.
out here in the lobby if you'd like to grab some of that on your way out. So.
Okay, find the catalog and swag in the lobby.
Yep.
Finally, if you want to apply to present, do so here at 1millioncups.com/bizman. And next week, we are looking forward to our Disrupt Well crossover. So join us for that. Sorry we ran a little bit long. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here. With that, that's a wrap.